Evening, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order at 7:01. Can I please get a roll call?
Beth Savior,
Hello.
John Woodward.
Here.
Katie Bootson.
Here.
Scott Sherwood.
Here.
Sarah Manthorn.
Here.
Kim McCormick.
Here.
Ray Woodward. Alyssa Kowalczyk.
Here.
And Paul King.
Here.
All right, thank you. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Student representative, welcome. And do you want to say your name and tell a little bit about yourself?
I'm Abby Robinson. I'm a current junior at Timberlane High School. I'm very excited for this position. I talked to Armand. He had a lot of great things to say about it.
Awesome.
So I'm very excited. I'm just kind of a part of a lot of organizations in Timberlane, and I thought that this would be a really great opportunity to kind of use my voice on another platform. So I'm very excited and looking forward to this year. So thank
Glad
you
to
so
have you.
much.
Welcome. And I believe you have a report.
Yes.
Nice.
So just kind of to jump into some things. So for Danville School, there's a lot of exciting new things happening as we get into the year. So many traditions return this fall, including the 5th grade taking on their annual Adventure Lore field trip. On September 16th, they took the field trip to the camp to do all sorts of fun activities and team building skills. School pictures took place on September 20th, and the PTA will begin selling popcorn this week as well. So the PTA's Fall Festival will take place on October 18th, shortly followed by the book fair being held in the Danville Library from October 15th to the 18th. At Sandown North, they had their first all-school meeting on Friday, September 20th, announcing the students of the month of the Hard Hat winners. These standout individuals are students who have shown great teamwork, being one student per classroom, being recognized and announced. The award is based off of the story The Hard Hats for Kids by John Gordon and Lauren Gallagher. A huge thank you to all the parents for attending our open house on Wednesday, September 25th. Special thank you to the teachers also for presenting curriculum information and opportunities for parents to connect with the staff throughout the evening. They also appreciated having the budget committee members in attendance to answer any questions and offer tours tours specific to the school's building projects. At the high school today, BMX riders came to Timberlane on their No Hate tour to encourage kindness and focus on the messages against bullying, one of which was a bronze medalist in the X Games. They implemented cool tricks and stunts into their powerful message of treating others with kindness. The class of 2025 has recently gotten parking spot painting approved, hence the white 3x3 squares on some certain senior spots in the parking lot. Current seniors look forward to painting their spots on October 20th. They also had their class picture out in the football field recently, forming the number 25. Along with the class of 2025 student council, the entire student council body is getting ready for Spirit Week. So these activities include dress-up days, spirit assembly, variety shows, kind of carnivals and parades, something that will be later this month, so there'll probably be more information on that. This upcoming Saturday, the student council will be hosting Kids Night Out for all kids of ages to come and have like some fun games and activities in the gym. And Key Club is also looking forward to Socktober starting on Monday, so they collect new socks for the community for the chili season coming up in the fall, which is really great. And the music department has decided on their production for early November, being Our Town by Thornton Wilder, while the orchestra is now preparing for their spooky concert happening on Halloween. And recently, the athletic department recognized 5 TRHS athletic alums at the 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony held at Atkinson Country Club. So these classes range from 2003 to 2017. And then kind of in the middle of September, kind of like a while ago, a couple weeks ago, juniors and seniors walked around and explored the college fair in the high school gymnasium. As a junior, that was pretty cool to be able to converse regarding different organizations and whether that be colleges or like the Marines were there, different things like that, and universities. Schools from both near and far came to discuss all of the prep going into college preparation. And then also we had the activities fair where over 32 groups and organizations came to represent their hard work behind the scenes and the true importance of being involved with clubs and organizations in the high school. TRHS's Sustainability Club also this month has focused on recycling, and they are specifically collecting expo markers this month as well. They're organizing beach cleanups and have been brainstorming fundraiser ideas as well. And that is kind of a little overview of what is happening. But I look forward to gathering more information too as the months go on. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right. Next up is student, staff, and family share.
I'd like to introduce to you Miss Mary Sullivan, principal over at Pollard. She's got some folks here tonight that she'll kind of map out what we're going to be listening to and learning from tonight. Mary, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
our seats were stuck together, so
Here, we got
There
a
you
ball.
go.
Alright, you stay right there, I'll take care of this.
Thanks, Jack, appreciate it. Meeting couldn't run without you, man.
it's okay, I almost brought the whole room. The chairs were attached. See, I told you not to. First of all, my sincerest apologies. I got your email and left it open to tell you a little bit about what's going on at Pollard. I will make sure you have it for the next week.
No, you're fine.
So, good evening, I'm Mary Sullivan. I'm the principal over at Pollard Elementary. With me tonight are Lexi Silva, a new fourth grade teacher, and Kim Belmore, a new fourth grade teacher. Not new to us, but new to the fourth grade, and that's why I brought them along. Maya Scipoletti, who was in the fourth grade last year and has moved to second grade, wanted to be with us tonight, but she could not. So I have to tell you, as a new principal coming in, one of the first things I learned was that we had some teams that were very veteran. We had some teams that had a combined over 100 years of experience. And then we had some teams that had about 3. And our fourth grade team had one vet. And my first day I got there and I got a call from Mitch and he said, so we're gonna hire him at the middle school. And I was like, oh, okay. So, we're in July. And so we start brainstorming what some of our options are. And the pool was very young and very inexperienced, excuse me. And I was looking at a fourth grade team that was going to have 2 second-year teachers and probably a brand new teacher on it. And I was concerned by that, especially because I have a first grade team and a second grade team that are very seasoned. So Jillian and myself started brainstorming and thinking and said, you know what? I'm not going to be the person that comes in and is like, here we go, boom, blowing up a team. Nice to meet you. But let's have some conversations. So I reached out to Kim and to Lexi and said, come in and let's have a chat. And so we talked about the possibility of moving the 2 of them up to fourth grade. And we knew that Maya really had requested to move down with the younger kids. So I'm like, this could work. This could be a win-win because then we would have 2 very veteran teachers on second grade and we would bring some experience up to fourth grade. But I had no idea how this conversation was going to go. In all honesty, I was bracing myself and expecting it to go like, yeah, no, have a nice day. So we have this great conversation and they're like, okay, so and I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't want an answer now. I'm not going to take the answer while you're sitting here in my office. I said, you need to go, you need to think about it, talk about it, and call me next week. Like, if we're gonna do this, we'll make it happen, but I don't want it to be, man, I got called in the boss's office and I felt pressured to make this change. So they leave, get into doing something else, and all of a sudden I hear a knock at my window. I turn around and they're standing outside my window and I'm trying to figure out how to open the window because, I haven't opened it yet. And they burst into song to tell me.
And dance.
And dance,
I would
yes.
just like to say, not they, Kim. I was all for it, but you enjoyed it.
They burst into song and dance to let me know how excited they were about joining our fourth grade team. So I really wanted to highlight that tonight to talk about the flexibility that our staff has, but also they really have, they've been knocking it out of the park. Maya, who couldn't be here, has just wanted me to share that she's really loved the transition to second grade. She feels super supported and loves being on a team that has veteran experience. She feels like she's learning so much more this year. And, I think it's been a great fit for her. And now I'm going to turn it over to these 2 ladies and let them talk a little bit about their experience in fourth grade.
Right. I'll go first. So just like 2 regular teachers in the middle of July, when you get that email going, we want to come in and chat, you go, No, I don't. Not even a little bit. I really don't. So the panic that was ensuing in the parking lot as we pulled in and looked at each other with our sunglass tan and we're not ready for this. What do you mean? But I would just like to say that when we walked in that building, there was a obvious different vibe, very positive, very, there was like a sense of community already. So when we walked in, I think we talked maybe for 45 minutes, not even about anything. We just got to know each other, which was great. And I've been at Pollard for 3 years. And I've never taught the same grade twice at Pollard, in case anybody's wondering. I am the girl on the move, apparently. So I've come accustomed to the shuffle. So when I did get that email, I was like, oh, I gotta box up my stuff again, but it's gonna be okay. But honestly, I was terrified, and I have never been so happy to be so wrong about something in my life. I love the littles, K1, 2, that's my thing, but went up to 4th grade and it's a whole new world. I'm learning a lot about myself, love about my friend Kim, and we're just kind of just moving and grooving. It's nice up there. It's a nice change.
It is. So I have been teaching 2nd grade for 18 years. So when I got that call, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I go to the older kids? Because Pollard, you're upstairs. So going up those stairs, it's a whole different place. So I went into the meeting. It was the first time I met Mary, and it was instantly something that I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. And I have to say it really is one of the best things that I said yes to, because we could have easily have said no, but I'm so glad that we opened up ourselves to it and said yes, because seeing the transition, especially from the kids that are in 2nd grade, and I had these kids 2 years ago, and now they're in 4th, and seeing everything they've learned and everything they've done in 3rd grade, and just the love for learning that they have. And I'm just so happy to be in 4th grade now. And I never would have gone to Mary and been like, okay, I want to change. And I think I'll go to 4th or 5th grade, because it's always that big fear of switching classes. But I think I said to you the first week of school, thank you, because I really, really do enjoy the curriculum and everything that we can do with these kids. So it's been a great experience.
So that was really, honestly, all 3 of them came to me within the first couple weeks of school to say how excited they were with the change. And that's when I put our name on this list, and I said I want to bring them forward to just express, because it's a huge change and it takes a lot to be willing to take that on. And they're knocking it out of the park, but I think they're also having fun doing it. I mean, I shouldn't speak for you, but I think you are.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but we're having a great time.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much for starting that conversation and giving them the opportunity. I'm so glad that you all feel supported and you were able to have that excitement and be able to go to school and be flexible as well to go from different changes of the grade. So
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for coming here. Did anyone have any questions or any comments they wanted to say? Shauna, go.
Thank you
Very much
for
so.
being open-minded. Thank you for being flexible. Thank you for being team players. Thank you for considering the kids in our building and their needs above your own sort of maybe hesitancies, considerations. And just thank you for being a part of a really cool community. I love Pollard. My kiddos are probably sad that they didn't have you because when you came in, they were older. But just thank you for trusting the process. And Mary, thank you for creating the space for that process to occur and thinking about not just one grade level, but all the kids throughout the school community and what's best for children. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, Mary, so nice to see you back with us.
It's good to be back.
You've never been afraid of change. You've been a part of a lot of the positive changes in the district over many years. And I can see it's contagious. Thank you all.
Go ahead, Jack.
I was so excited when you came back. I just want to tell the board, I was right. No, great job. I appreciate it. And thank you to you guys and what you're doing. And transition and change is never easy. So thank you for adapting. And I'm sure she'll do a good job of leading the group.
She's great. We bother you a lot.
We're like, so it's
never a
me again.
She signed up for that.
I did.
And I just want to say, I know students that are in both of your classes, and talking with the parents, they've all had wonderful things to say about both classes. So whatever you guys are doing, even if you're having hesitancy saying, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right because you just got there into that grade, you're doing great. Because I've been hearing really good things about both of you guys.
Thank you. So kind.
Well, thank you guys so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Right, next is delegates and individuals. We have three. First one up, I believe, is Vale Freeman. Sorry if I mispronounced your first name, honey.
It's like Vail, Colorado.
Oh,
Say it.
all right.
Tell everybody. It's the way to pronounce it that way.
Is the apple pie for speakers?
Yeah, absolutely have some. I'll let you have that.
Good evening, how is everybody? I hope well. I am here tonight to let everyone know that I'm going to be sponsoring a citizen's petition. And the citizen petition reads as follows. Shall the Timberlane Regional School District vote to rescind and terminate the March 14, 2023 adoption of Article 3 lease purchase agreement of $25,243,000 as authorized by the TRSD. And in doing that, I have to submit for the record 6 pages of signatures for that. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. All right. Next is Mr. Sean O'Neill.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good evening, fellow board members.
Good evening.
I'm here to, first of all, I'd like to actually congratulate the student rep. It's a great experience and it's one that you'll probably, it enlightens you very much in seeing how government works. And I want to give a hat tip to the prior people that were up here. It shows that a good principal sees a void and addresses it, and you got team players underneath you. It's teamwork. That's what makes things work. I'm here tonight to submit a citizen's petition in the form of a 2.5% tax cap on the operating budget. It reads as follows. Shall the Timberlane Regional School District vote to adopt the provisions of RSA 32:5-B and implement a tax cap whereby the governing body and the budget committee shall not submit a recommended budget that increases the amount to be raised by local taxes based on the prior fiscal year's amount of local taxes raised by more than 2.5%. I had to ponder what would be a good number to put in there. And in light of what's been happening around here, in my opinion, I think I've been very gracious, and 2.5% is very reasonable. And I hope you guys really take a good hard look at these operating budgets and not just pass it along to the budget committee. This budget is actually put together through the administration of the superintendent. You need, as a board member, need to understand that budget in its entirety. What it pushes and pulls. I understand it's easy to say no to everything, and I'm not here, and I always never wanted to say no. As you know, I'm a fiscal hawk, but saying no is easy. It's saying yes is also is easy all the time too, but you need to understand why you're saying yes to it. And reasonable, sound people will come to good decisions and say yes if it makes sense. But you need to understand what you're pushing forward and what it's adopting. As I said before, you on this board and the administration do not see the impact of some of the stuff that you guys have done. As I said before, I have seen grown men, 60s and 70 years old, cry because they cannot pay their taxes. That is heart-wrenching for me to see somebody like that, that's on a fixed income. And when you have the tax impact that came through, you can't unwind that. I know the money's coming back, it's a pipeline effect, but people make drastic decisions of moving out of our community because of that decision. I implore you, please dig in, find this budget and find on out. You'll be enlightened in where money goes. And I'm submitting this into the record.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you.
Next is John Downing.
Something, but I don't need it. Good evening. Just for the record, my name is John Downing from Sandown. I'm here tonight also to submit a citizen's petition for the upcoming budget season. This particular petition was written because it was proven to be not useful at all as demonstrated in the past school board meeting. So I'll read it as follows. Shall the Timberlane Regional School District, TRSD, vote to rescind the March 14th, 2023 adoption of Article 15, fund balance retention of 5% as authorized by TRSD? I have pages 1 through 7 of signatures, and I'd like to submit that for the record also.
Go ahead.
I will in a moment. And then on another note, I'd like to endorse Dr. Martin to resume the responsibilities of the facilities director who has resigned. I'd also like to endorse with that to suggest the removal of the salary of the facilities director, whereas Dr. Martin is clearly qualified to take on those responsibilities instead of having double the salary. $120,000 is quite substantial. We've added Dr. Martin, who is very capable, and that's why I'm endorsing that idea. I'm hoping you'll consider that and possibly discuss it. Thank you. Thank you.
I get a motion to move the remaining 25 minutes of August proposals to the end of the meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Shauna, do I have a second? Seconded by Mark, any discussion? All those in
I was
favor?
just voting.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained. All right. Yeah, Jack, go ahead.
Can we take a moment, just to have a moment of silence for our friends down south, and the victims of the hurricane?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just make one other point as reference to that in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
I would love to see some type of drive or some type of fundraising. At one time, I was sat on the board of trustees of the local American Red Cross. I don't know exactly how we could do that or coordinate that here within the district, but I think that's a hell of a learning environment for the students. I don't know if that's appropriate or inappropriate, but I thought I'd throw it out there for everyone to chew on that a little bit. And
So I have.
those people are really.
So I
really
have
very-
family down in that area that's actually suffering from it, and I know right now that water is a big thing, so if you can get cases of water, I know we have a lot of strike teams that are going down there, so if there's some way that we could get raised water, and if they're going down there, we can link up that way, but yeah, but water is like the big thing right now, cause they are going weeks in some communities, like such as Chimney Rock, I mean, there's no telling when that water's coming back or what's going on.
So
yeah.
whatever,
Absolutely. Good thoughts.
thank you.
Right. Next is approval of the minutes. Let's go ahead and do the public first, and then we also have a set of non-public. Great.
Make motion to approve minutes from September 19th.
A motion to approve the public meeting minutes of September 19th. Do I have a second? Seconded by Jack. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained. So 8-0-1. All right, and then you have another non-public minutes in front of you?
Motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes from September 19th, 2024.
Have a motion, to have a second? Seconded by Mark. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained. 8-0-1. You pass those back, please. Thank you so much. right, first order of business is the 2025 high school year-end dates.
So I'd be happy to preview that for
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
board. There's a real simple sheet in your packet. Many thanks to Patty Mangini. There are lots of things that happen at the high school at the close of the year, both academic and non-academic and celebratory. So what we've done is they've used that graduation date that's tentatively set for June 14th and kind of work backwards from there and have organized those end of the year activities in a sequence for us. We're presenting them to you tonight with the certainly the flexibility that could change depending upon how we do with weather and school cancellations and those things moving forward. We don't expect that to have a change on this agenda, but it's always possible. We're just looking for a tentative approval of this and allow us to start moving forward with the planning of all the phases. A lot of this takes a lot of organization for the facilities and also outside vendors in terms of setup and breakdown. So we'd like to start making those calls and making those contracts and connections now.
Anybody have any questions? Shauna?
So you'll be coming back to us if there's any changes needed to this?
We would keep you updated, and if we needed to change, and really it's about that graduation date. If we feel like we need to move that for any legal reason, we would bring that back before this committee.
Sorry, I work in Mass. Is Juneteenth not recognized in New Hampshire?
I do not believe so.
Make a motion to accept the proposed end of year dates for the high school end of year dates for 2025.
Is it for all the years, or does she need to make a motion for the graduation date? Is that really what you're looking for?
It's really the it's the end of year school calendar for the high school.
Okay.
So make a motion to accept the proposed end of year high school calendar.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shauna, seconded by Kim. Any discussion? Abigail, any thoughts on these? Are you part of any of these organizations? Not to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I'm a junior, so but I mean, the end of the year dates like. Sorry, I'm like new at this.
No, you're good. No,
Okay.
it's fine. I told you didn't have to say anything if you didn't.
But no, I agree. With
And then you
the end of
called
year
on
dates.
her.
Yeah, that's.
I know.
I think it's right.
You're fine. All right, all those in favor? Oppose and abstain. I told you I might every once in a while. You still don't have to. All right, student council, the Waterville Valley Conference.
Mr. Pedersen, thank you so much.
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So in your packets, you have an executive summary about an overnight travel for the student council trip. Because it's an overnight travel, we do need board approval, so I'm looking for a motion for this board to approve this overnight travel. The student council has gone to many events. This is just another one of the events that the student council goes to year after year. I believe there's a couple throughout the year that student council goes to. Do you have any questions from your executive summary?
Is this the first time that you guys are going to this particular one, or is this a repeat?
This one, I believe we've gone to, it might move around the state,
Okay.
but they've gone to this state conference before.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
this is an annual, and it's usually the same place. Just about all the student councils all around the state go to it. It's their big deal. They all have a lot of fun. They listen to speeches from people from around the country that come, guest speakers, and they present the things they're doing. They talk about goals and what they're doing well at their schools and share ideas and initiatives that are working for them. And they have a blast, so it's real important for them.
Very nice. Abigail?
Yeah, I just want to say I went to this conference last year and I thought it was really awesome. Like you said, Mr. Woodworth, there was a lot of like guest speakers and there was like a lot of teamwork activities you could do. And it was really like beneficial to see how other student councils ran from around the state even. And I thought it was really amazing experience and I would recommend that people go to it. I may go to it this year as well, but I thought it was really a great idea. And to continue it, I think would be really
And now you're here.
Awesome.
Make a motion to approve the Student Council Waterville Valley overnight trip to the New Hampshire State Fall Conference, dates of November 7th and 8th, 2024.
Motion, do you have a second? Seconded by Alyssa. Any other discussion? Yes, Jack?
Mark, is it, am I reading this right, that the students are paying $250 a piece?
So as of right now, that is correct. We are looking to see into if there is funding. We sponsor a lot of trips for students, and this is just one where as of right now, to make sure that we can get into it, that's how it is, but we are looking to see how many student funds we can have.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Any other discussions? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? And abstained, 900.
Thank you.
Okay, the NHSBA proposed resolutions.
I'd be happy to start that,
Yes,
and I don't
please.
know if Kim would want to add anything down the road. But a lot of your packet is made up of the resolutions from the New Hampshire School Boards Association. Just for this group's knowledge, Kelly Salovich will be sending you all a poll shortly in terms of you kind of marking your area where you stand on these pieces. The resolutions are there for you to review. I'm certainly not going to talk through every one of them tonight, but I'd offer you a few things to think about and then maybe an option for you if you need to seek more information. I would want to draw your attention to 3 resolutions specifically. Resolution 16 has to do from the Concord School District. It's partnering with a continuing resolution that already exists in NHSBA, and it's really about providing a free breakfast and lunch for all New Hampshire students. So I'd want you folks to be reading that closely. I'd also bring your attention to Resolution 18. That has to do with New Hampshire, the school funding model in New Hampshire. So it's clearly it's a topic of concern for all districts across New Hampshire. Timberlane is not exempt from that, so I would want board members paying close attention to that resolution. And the last one I draw to your attention is resolution number 19. It has to do with the minimum standards, ED 306, and looking to push back a little bit about providing some additional clarification where needed, and also ensuring that those standards are not being lowered to the extent that does some damage to our public institutions across the state.
I would just add that for those of you who don't know, I will go to this conference and represent the Timberlane Regional School District. And the poll that you'll receive, you will vote on what you think of these resolutions, and then we'll take it from there. If you want to have conversations about it, you can certainly email me. And then when the vote goes in the conference, then I'll vote whichever way the school board leans. If there's a question about anything, I'll certainly come to you guys with it first. It's a really interesting meeting. There's a lot of great conversations from all the school districts around the state. So there's one voting member, but anyone can come from the school board. So if anyone else is interested in joining me, you're welcome to come.
What's that date again, Kim?
The 19th, I want to say.
Saturday, October 19th, 10:30 a.m.
And certainly if as a board you look through this as individual members and you needed more information or you had questions about a specific resolution, both myself and Chris and Sandy would be happy to do our research and get you the things that you need to make sound decisions.
So we'll be looking for a survey to be coming out by Kelly. Again, if you need anything extra, you can reach out to Kim and or Justin. Any questions about these? This is something kind of standard every year that we end up doing. Okay. All right. Policies. We have 2. One for a second read, and then one is the revocation. Sandy or Shauna, which one wants to speak?
I'll go. So
Okay.
the policy up for second read and adoption is EBCH, which is Hazardous Chemical Safety Provisions and Hygiene Plan. There are no changes since the first read. It is a new policy for our district. And then in terms of the revocation of ACAC, Title IX Sexual Harassment Policy and Grievance Process. And the reason for the revocation is due to the recent adoption of policies AC, ACAA, ACAB, and JIE. In other words, policy ACA is no longer applicable because all of the contents from it are included in all of those other letters that I just explained.
Saying it's obsolete.
A little bit, yep.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about these policies? Yep, Paul?
So that's when 4 weeks ago, we talked
Yes.
about our intent to do this, and we announced it 2 weeks after.
Yep, and now we have to
Right, got
vote
it.
to revoke
So,
officially.
Just make sure I was on the right one. Yep.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
Any other questions about these policies? I would recommend doing these separately if someone wants to make some motions.
So I'll make a motion to adopt EBCH, policy EBCH for second read and adoption.
Motion by Shauna. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Second by Don. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain, 900. Okay, and then policy ACAC.
Make a motion to revoke policy ACAC.
I have a motion seconded by Mark. Any other discussion on this policy? Again, like we've stated, this policy is just obsolete because we now have other policies with other language that cover way more in depth than what this policy did. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain, 900. Okay. Last thing for current business is a second read of first and second grade health curricula. Hello. Nothing's changed, correct?
Nothing's changed, you have the same documents you had last time, again, these are just complete documents that are being swapped grades and would stay within the grade span of those standards.
Do you just want to give a quick recap to the listeners from the last time we brought this in about what these are? Just a quick summary.
Absolutely, so we're looking at K-12 health, and over the course of the summer, we had a K-12 group review. We're looking at the progression of skill cues and the topics. And one of the changes we are proposing we make is a switch between grade 1 and 2, a little bit more appropriate spacing of where they reappear as they go through the progression.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Does someone want to make?
I'll make a motion to act on the second reads of grade 1, goal-setting nutritional and physical activity, and grade 2, analyze influences, relationships, and human growth and development.
A motion by Mark. Do I have a second? Seconded by Bree. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain, 900.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, administrator's report.
Dr. Martin, could I ask you to lead us first and then Sandy, and then I will close for us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Good evening, everyone. It's been a busy few weeks, as you know, with the resignation of or retirement of our facilities director. I have been transitioning alarm codes and alarms and telephone calls and emails and introducing myself to vendors, learning more about fire panels and sprinkler systems than I ever wanted to know. But it's all good, and I really do credit the facilities team, Sarah. How do you say Sarah's last name? Vera. Really getting the guys together and women together, and really everyone's been very, very resilient because it is stressful. There's no question. This is a stressful transition. I also want to thank Chris Roy from EEI, who's just extended himself to help as much as he possibly can in giving advice and so forth. I had lunch with the facilities and maintenance folks last week. Lunch thanks to our friends at Cleanorama. I love the name of that company. They did a training for staff on some safety items, and they sponsored lunch for everyone. Excuse me, and the timing was perfect. I had an opportunity to speak with our facilities folks and reassure them that we were going to get through this transition, that significant people in their department would be involved in the interviewing process, and that everything was going to be all right. I was going to play Bob Marley in the background, but I thought, well, let's not no overkill here, Chris. So it was a great opportunity. While we're talking about the facilities division, we have a number of folks interested in that position, double-digit applicants. And we have scheduled the first tier of interviews for October 9th, which is next Wednesday. I believe we're going to bring 6 or 7 people forward that day. And we have a nice balance of an interviewing team to take a look at those applications. The team I've just solicited questions from the team as well, so all good in that department. I had Mr. Henderson in the back of the room. I was invited to his tech department meeting so I could meet the crew. I was incredibly impressed with their professionalism. I'm impressed with their professionalism when I see them in the field. And really, it was a really meaningful department meeting. Mind you, I would suggest fruit next time and not the sweets. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. We'll work on that next time.
It's a technique.
I did bring a prop. These are the new bus. I know. These are the new bus radios. Every school has one. We have an opportunity to speak to dispatch, not direct buses, but we can tell. I hear, and it's on my desk in the afternoon. I hear bus 108, empty middle school, high school, heading to elementary pickup. So I can monitor from my desk where folks are, as can each of the schools. And if on the occasion where, and please God, let's not make this happen again, we can't find a child or the bus is really late. We had one this afternoon that was really late. The schools are in real time connected through the bus radio. So it's been a nice addition. We're how do I say this? We're doing a soft launch of the radio. We do not want to dominate the bus company's radio transmission. So it is definitely a soft launch, but as we get better at this, perhaps we will get more communicative with the bus company and be a lot more privileges in that regard. And beyond that, I think, one last thing, Mrs. Brooks, our special education director, and I met with a company called Relay. As you know, we outsource our Medicaid billing to a company named MSB. We are looking to perhaps change our Medicaid billing company for a number of reasons. And the Relay folks, we had a really great presentation. So Mrs. Brooks is working on an executive summary for Justin, and we hope to be able to bring something to you in the very near future so we can improve these services and make the process less daunting for our service providers in special education. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bree.
After stepping into this role for a few days, do you think it's feasible to take on both roles?
So,
Could I speak to that?
please, Mr. Krieger, yes. I'm a candid individual, so I would definitely be candid with you, but I think our superintendent would like to share that.
Dr. Martin is charged with overseeing most, if not all, the director positions in our district, including special education, facilities, student services, technology. There are a lot of pockets of this district that she is looking to support and direct. It is much more than the director of facilities position.
Any other questions? All right. Just make sure on the radio that they don't have conversations. It's short, sweet, to the point.
We have a protocol.
Yes,
And
yes,
we're
ma'am.
copying the protocol Mr. Pedersen established over at the secondary school. So we're well behaved.
Great.
Yes.
Excuse me for a second, Sandy. I'll also add athletics to that list as well, and the Performing Arts Center.
And transportation.
You need a hat for each one and I wanna see it.
And lastly, we haven't even initiated a special project yet. This is the other half of Dr. Martin's role.
It's a great world though. I have no complaints.
You're gonna make our superintendent obsolete.
No.
If we can build a structure here that's horizontal, I would be exceptionally proud.
Moving on.
I have
That
a
one,
few
Sandy.
things to highlight that are happening in the building. So today, I think we already heard a little bit about No Hate, which is an organization that brought BMX riders to the high school to put on a show, but at the same time, sharing a message of really positive relationship building, eliminating hate at its root, and really engaging kids in hearing about that positive message through a really entertaining experience and presentation. So heard great things about that. I believe that there are some videos connected to that might be out there on the district's social media sites. So encourage you all to look for those. Another couple of team building activities that I just wanted to highlight that I'm hoping we'll hear more about from the middle school. So you likely have heard about grade 6 has the transition of taking all teams to Camp Lincoln as part of the grade 6 transition. So all of our grade 6 teams went to Camp Lincoln to engage in different activities that range from a ropes course to archery to hiking to kayaking. And it's really focused on helping the kids get to know their new teachers and their peers as we bring all of our students together across our 4 towns. So that traditional experience happened during the month of September. And new this year, to kind of extend that up to 7th grade, our 7th graders for the first time had a chance to go to Camp Tricklin Falls. And it was a very similar experience, but different at the same time. So as students change teams and go to grade 7, it was another opportunity for them to build connections with one another to launch the year. So I know Mr. Mensis and his team were really excited by the feedback from kids and families and staff. And he may be visiting to speak with us in the coming future. So finally, 2 other additional things. Last week, the Timberlane Athletic Department celebrated the 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the Atkinson Country Club, and we'd like to congratulate and recognize the new inductees. And so those individuals are Jessica Flynn Weber from the class of 2003, Nathan Lawrence and Nicholas Lawrence, both were graduates in the class of 2011, Taylor Hogan from the class of 2017, and Melinda or Mim Ryan, who is head field hockey coach here at Timberlane from 2002 to 2017. So congratulations to all of those individuals. We're looking forward to seeing their faces up on the Hall of Fame wall over at the high school. And lastly, just letting you all know that next Wednesday, October 9th, beginning at 7:30 a.m., our juniors will be taking the PSAT, so the Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. It's a long acronym, PSAT NMSQT. So all of our juniors, we started that practice, I believe this is year 3, where we administer the PSAT in the fall to all of our juniors. It is a bit of a practice test as they lead up to the SAT, but at the same time, it gives them an opportunity to qualify for the National Merit Scholarship Program for those students who score at a certain level. So that will be happening next Wednesday. So we wish all of those juniors, our best wishes. Hope they get a good night's sleep and have a solid breakfast as they show up to the high school. So that's what I have.
A couple more things to report out to the board. The first is wanted to share and kind of plant the seed that at our district welcome, we had a Q&A with the superintendent and members of the board. A large part of that conversation was around cell phones and student use of cell phones in schools. And we are committed to kind of exploring that topic. So as we look at wanting to gather some of the brain research around that, we want to certainly survey and solicit some input from students, from our staff, from our administrators, from our families. They would all have a different kind of stake in terms of how that conversation continues to unfold. It's a large topic to kind of get at, but it has to do with trying to get to the best place in an environment for learning to occur in our schools. So I think the first step for us is we're going to debrief as an admin team in October with all of our principals and directors, and we're going to start putting together some sort of survey where we can begin to solicit those 4 primary groups. So planting that seed tonight, certainly a whole lot more conversation to come along cell phones in our schools. Currently where we are is Timberlane doesn't have a cell phone policy, but we are embedding those practices through our student handbooks to kind of give you the where we are at governance with that challenge right now. A few more things I would share is senior leadership just sat through a cyber tabletop with our insurance company Primex, and thanks to Ken Henderson for organizing and putting that on. It's really running us through if we got to that point where there was a bad actor and we had some messages that we needed to respond to that we have that we need to encrypt or get de-encrypted the data that was taken from the district. So talking about all the protective measures we have in place, I was really happy to report out as some of the concerns were raised by the insurance company. Ken is able to really quickly respond about we've got this or X or Y or Z that's already in place. So I want to give kudos to that about getting out in front of that conversation across the district, and we're able to share our action plan that if we do indeed find ourselves in that situation, how effectively can we move forward and minimize and mitigate the loss, and then recoup the things that we need to recoup, and then legally under obligations to report out what we need to report out. So good conversations, and if more things come from that, we'll be bringing that back to the board as well. Wanted to give the board an update that we have posted for the 5th grade position at Danville. You had charged us last meeting with finding a resource and repurposing that. We were able to do that internally, and that position posted for a 5th grade teaching position on October 1st. And Principal Snyder is actively screening through any candidates, and again with that marker about finding somebody who's high quality for our students. Want to report out that we have good news from First Student. We know that they had some tough contractual negotiations going on with their drivers at the outside of this year. They have reached an agreement and has afforded some additional pay to drivers. So they are going to be, they have a multi-year agreement there, but also an opportunity for us to put out to our community. The rate for drivers has significantly increased as a result of that union negotiation. So those folks that are looking for that type of line of work, there are still openings at First Student. That's located right here in Plastow. There's incentives and sign-on bonuses that they're still offering. So it may be a good place for some people in our community to look into. And no disruption for services for our students moving forward. Update about Board of Selectmen meetings. I am scheduled to present and talk with the Board of Selectmen in Sandown, in Atkinson, and in Plastow. And I've got an ongoing conversation with the board chair in Danville about looking to secure a Monday moving forward in October. So I'll keep the board updated along those lines. And lastly, before I get to 2 celebratory things, I'd close with the same thing I shared with the budget committee when we had our meeting for the first time the other week. We are charged with a dual purpose. One of those purposes is to deliver high quality educational services to students. And the second purpose is to do that in a fiscally responsible manner. And I want to reiterate for the board, as I did for BudCom, that I think that we can do both. I don't think it's a choice between one or the other. 2 celebratory things I'd like to share with you. We have 4 students that are going to be celebrating their Eagle Scout recommendation or honor coming up on the 12th. And I wanted to read those names for you because it is certainly a large achievement. So many congrats to Alexandra and Nathaniel Galvin, and to Alex and Evan Hool. Big achievement, many years of work and dedication to kind of get to that end. Awesome to see kids achieve goals that they've kind of set out for themselves. And I'd close with this. Got a 1974 makeup copy of a newspaper here. I want to thank Patty Mangini over at the high school. She took a group of about 20 graduates of the class of 74 for their 50th high school reunion. They attended that football game Friday night, and then Patty toured them through the school on that Saturday on her own time. So for me, it was just a reminder of like that circle of education. These are folks that left our schools 50 years ago, and it's meaningful for them to come back. So I'll share this with the board. This is just kind of their makeup newspaper. It's all the things that were going on in 1974. We had Nixon happening, what was on the radio, what were the top sellers. It is amazing to look at and what happens with the passage of time. But many thanks to Patty Mangini for taking that time and continuing to establish those connections for folks.
Awesome. Thank you guys. All good things.
Pleasure.
All right, personnel report, we do not have one. We'll go on to committee reports. I'll start with Jack. Nothing? Okay, Don?
We had 3 meetings that was part of this past week. We had curriculum, we had the ad hoc kindergarten pre-K conversations going on, and in policy. A lot of that has been presented tonight, and I'll let those things get reviewed by the chairs. So, busy week on that front. And I did actually meet that class of 74 crew at the football game. And I graduated in 73, so not here, but we had a lot of things that we could recall around, like you said, the end of the war, the end of a presidency soon afterwards that wasn't too great, all types of wonderful things, Watergate, et cetera. Yeah, they were so proud and so happy to see the changes in the just the atmosphere of the football area. The field didn't have a track, didn't have lights. They had a crooked field. They remembered a lot of things about the environment that were very different. The woods in the back of the school came all the way up to the school. When you went on a cross-country race, You left from the front of the building, ran into the woods. You could run through the woods for 3 miles, not see another building, come back across the street. Can't do that anymore. That's a lot of growth and change in the district, and they were very proud of that.
That's great. Budget committee met the other day. We voted to accept for consideration the SAU's budget along with the board's budget. Believe, when's our next meeting?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. They are televised, so I highly recommend board members to watch those just so you have a knowing of what's going on, because we're gonna be having some of the teachers and some of the building administrators presenting, correct?
Correct, yeah. Next up is the elementary principals will be at the next meeting.
So I highly recommend that. And then safety committee met the other day. Good meeting, good stuff gonna be coming out of that real soon. Other than that, that's all I have. Mark?
Let's see, facilities met the other day, 9:24. A lot came out of that. I'll just highlight it real fast. One of the things that we've been looking at were obviously the floors, and there's been a lot of discussion of floors, what to do with them. We ended up gathering some new information as to what other towns are doing in order to mitigate their PFAS. Some towns are indeed barreling up the wastewater and having it disposed of by a septic company. Another local school is actually disposing of themselves at some cost, because obviously that takes some infrastructure. However, the good news is, upon further research, it turns out that for the past couple of years, the wax formula we've been using does not contain PFAS. So, yes, exactly, jaw drop. So I think discretion was the better part of valor in doing additional research, and we're very thankful, Jack and Justin, for getting the woman from the state come in to talk to us and explain some of the concerns with PFAS. So we still will have that in our system with the layers of wax that we have underneath. And I know that Dr. Martin was going to be looking into what that would entail to actually stripping it down to its base and getting rid of all of that. Then we would have to get rid of that wastewater, which would not be inexpensive, but it's not retiling every single floor to the tune of, millions and millions and millions of dollars. So that is all good news. Additionally, phase 2 of the lease ended up coming in under budget, which was really a nice thing, of approximately $500K. And in looking at some of the other items that were listed, Danville HVAC is something that is probably toward the top of the priority, followed by Atkinson and then Pollard. We have yet to discuss in detail Sandown Central, which is something that we are going to have to start looking at and discussing. The good news is initially we had been told that the PAC roof and their HVAC was something that was a priority. Upon further inspection, it is not. So the roof and the HVACs are at their end of life, but they are not failing. So there's not an immediate sense of urgency to do anything drastically because we have leaking roofs, et cetera, et cetera. So all good news on that front.
Shauna?
Oh man, I have a lot. Sorry, gang. Okay. Wellness Committee is scheduled for its first meeting of the year on October 16th. I met with Ginger. We established an agenda, so we'll be reviewing the mission and establishing goals for that committee. Policy Committee met today. Very robust and enthusiastic conversations. I'm happy to say we did get through all of the agenda items that were on the schedule today, which isn't always the case. We did table a lot of policies for further review of information and seeking out other information from other sources in the district. So we'll be following up on those on our next agenda. And I believe there's 2 policies that will be coming forward to the board, I think. Yes, it's been a long day. In terms of the ad hoc early childhood committee, so just to sort of update everybody on where we're at with that. So we had, I call it the 4 S's, the 4 areas that we're looking at related to students, space, staff, and stakeholders. There's ongoing conversations and research being done about students and space. Currently, we are still doing listening tours with staff, so we have a few more buildings to hit. We will have gone to all of the elementary schools and our early childhood center within the next week and a half. So I'm looking forward to bringing back some information related to those staff tours. And then the last S being stakeholders. And so where we are in the process of that is that we will be having an early childhood listening session for the public, which is scheduled on Monday, October 28th. It will be held in the high school cafeteria. The plan is to have it from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The format is looking to be small group discussions with some open-ended questions to open up and engage folks in conversation related to early childhood programming, kindergarten, full day, and part half day kindergarten. So information about the early childhood listening session for community stakeholders will be coming out soon, but just wanted to share that date and time now, so mark your calendars. And I do have two feel-good things that I want to mention. First and foremost, I want to say that last week at the middle school cross-country meet, the only home meet of the season, was really great to see the kids cheering each other on. It was really encouraging. But my favorite part of the day was that the high school cross-country team had finished their season the day before, and they came to time our athletes, work the event, cheer them on, get them ready to rock and roll. And it was such a really cool thing that they did. They gave up that first day of free time after school to come support their future teammates. So I thought that was really, really awesome. I know my 7th grader was really pretty pumped about having some of the older kids there. So thank you to those coaches and kids that organized that. And then I do want to give a huge shout out for the absolutely tremendous, wonderful, beautiful, moving performance of the national anthem done by our orchestra and high school chorus last week at the home game. It is really cool and amazing to see those two groups that practice separately come together in a performance and include the 8th grade chorus members that are moving up for next year. I usually cry when I hear the national anthem anyways, just because I'm very patriotic, but this really was a really moving performance, and I'm really grateful for the music department putting that together for everybody.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm done, sorry.
No, it was a good report. Thank you. Kim?
I'm going this way.
I'm trying to do every other time.
I'm not going over. No. Okay, I have a curriculum and assessment update. We had our meeting on Tuesday. We looked at psychology, curriculum revisions, and we got through those. So those will be coming to the board next meeting. And we started our conversation about the 25-26 program of studies. So that will be coming to the curriculum and assessment team or committee on our next meeting in November, which will be the first Tuesday in November. I was on the community engagement committee also, where we talked about classroom communication with parents, and how to get the information out there. Part of the conversation that really resonated with me was when you have your families at the PAC and they're waiting for their student to do their concert. Mr. Schweiss was talking about perhaps doing some sort of a slideshow behind the stage with information in either district, or maybe it happens to be a slideshow of the work that the students have done at that particular school. It was then the conversation, of course, that was a very exciting conversation. So we kind of with that, there's a lot of work that goes into that, which was kind of where we stalled out. But it was exciting to have the conversations, and it's a great group of people to. Everyone was really excited to be there, and how can we communicate better with our students, with our teachers, with our parents, and so that's one of my favorite committees to be on. And I just wanted to add to what Sean was saying about the early education. We've been to, I've been to 2, Sean's been to 3 elementary schools, or 2, but different ones, and talking to the teachers about the importance of early education. And that was very moving to hear just how passionate our teachers are about their children and the children that that aren't even there yet. So I was very impressed by all of that, and thank you, Lucy, for helping us work through that. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Great.
CIP meets Monday, 6 p.m. boardroom. And then also strategic planning. We had great equity discussion through universal design learning, and also through separate language accessibility with our forms. So those were great things that came out of strategic plan, and the next meeting will be November 21st, 5:30 SAU.
Thank you, Alyssa.
I have nothing to add. Enough has been said.
Paul?
I'm good, yes.
We will start with you next time, so it can work around. Right. Does anybody have any other business at this time? Yes, we'll do Dawn and then Jack.
Over the past year or two, we've been a lot of work on facility pieces, and it's a demanding area for the facilities committee to cover. We had change. We have people have only so much time and effort to put towards this, but expertise is something that if you have it available to you, want to take advantage of. And as a result of that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jack to the facilities committee, because I think he brings a skill set that's unique and beneficial to the group. I think he would be a value added.
So it's an improper motion that will not be put on the floor because policy states that it is up to the board chair along with the superintendent to do so, and then it comes back to the board to vote, which we did. So there's no action to take.
I would like to make a motion to direct the chair of the board to open this up for discussion.
You can open it for discussion.
I would second that.
Okay, go ahead.
At this point in time, I don't want the intricacies of policies and procedures and Robert's rules to interfere with doing that. From the beginning, be it the block work, the pipes, the retention pond, or getting someone from Department of Environmental Services here to talk about PFAS. The information and the expertise that Jack has brought, I think has saved us, not time certainly, but a heck of a lot of money and resources, especially now that we've lost our facilities director. We need more people in the room with a diverse background. I may miss a meeting occasionally, Paul may miss a meeting occasionally. I don't think having an extra person in the room who has shown a history of being personally invested and willing to do the research and go above and beyond would do anything but be an asset to this community and to this board. And I don't want the nuances of the decision-making processes of this board to interfere with doing the right thing.
So I thought a lot of what you said is true, and I would say that everybody has different approaches or different ways to go about things, but I can't think of a time that Jack has brought something to us that didn't end up being true in the world of facilities. Certainly things I've learned from, questions I've learned to ask or to consider. Doesn't mean we've always agreed on stuff. It just means that Jack has saved this district time and money overall, because you seem to have the ability to dig into things and know where to dig. And I just think Jack's experience in facilities and construction and would be an asset to the administration, to the board, to the students, to the community. I really do. I would support it if it was put out there.
So, heard, again, policy states that it's up to the board chair and the superintendent, which we already did that, we already voted, and we are way into this year. Reorganization of those committees happens in March, which is not too far away. If the board chooses to want to go down this path, then you would need a waive policy, which you have to give 1 week notice, and then you guys can do anything you want at the next meeting. Yes, Jack, go ahead.
Doesn't the policy state, and because policy states that the board at any time can overrule the chair.
Which policy?
That's Robert's rules, that's the policy. I've been doing this for 20 years. I sat in the chair and I've chaired committees for a long time. I am humbled by the words that were said here tonight. I don't know why we are where we're at, because I think that's really sad. I've given my heart and soul to this district for 20 years, so to kind of try to get tripped up on a tech, and trust me, I know Robert's rules inside and out. I know what the rules are. So I think it's a sad state of affairs that we're going down this road, and I'll leave it at that, other than, Dawn, thank you very much for making the motion, and I don't know who seconded it, or even if it was seconded, but I care about the district, I care about everyone sitting up here at this table, so I'll leave it at that.
Any other business? Yes, Jack.
So, kind of tailing on the whole facilities thing, as everyone knows, that I was really pushing us getting as many budget numbers as possible last year, so if in case we had to move on something, we could. One of the things I've always been concerned about, and for me, at least, it's a priority, I think we've talked about it at the CIP meeting, of the envelopes of the buildings. With that said, I had a conversation with someone I respect tremendously about that. I've talked to architects that have been involved here that say you're going to have to fix the envelope of the high school and probably the middle school. So I'd like to make a motion to instruct the administration to reach out just as a fact finding, as to find out what kind of services. The name of the company is Westling Architects. I have all the contact information here. They are envelope experts. And from what I've seen, they've done very good work. But from where the recommendation came, and this is not saying we're going to do anything with them, it's to find out the resource that's available to us by them. So I'd make that in the form of a motion to just make a telephone call and say, well, can you provide us, what kind of services you can provide us? Because we're gonna have to move on that sooner than later.
Do you have any information to give the board so we can look at it?
Well, I can contact, I'll go through the administration, everyone can look at their website. I can give the administration the gentleman's, the contact name, and the number and their website as well. So I can do that. That was a motion, I guess.
Could you restate it more clearly, please?
Yeah. Could the administrator, to make a motion, to have the administration reach out, contact this architectural firm to find out what type of resources they can provide the district relative to wrapping up our envelopes of our buildings, specifically the high school. I mean, I think Chris will know exactly what to say and the questions to ask. Or I can sit right there with you, Chris, and ask the questions well.
Could you provide the board with actually more information on this company before we're forced to make a decision?
This is nothing more than a telephone call saying, can you tell us a little bit about your company and what you can provide us? This isn't entering into a contract. This isn't, asking them to provide budget numbers for us. This is an informational, fact-finding telephone call to say, we think we have an issue with our envelopes, and what type of service can you provide us? It's nothing more than a telephone call, bringing, again, a very strong resource to make sure we do things right. And I would guess that these guys could do that. So you don't have to find out. I mean, that's part of the reason for the call, is to find out more about the company.
You just highly recommended them, so I didn't know if you already had research that you could provide to the board.
It was highly recommended to me by someone that does this every day at a very high level. So
I'll second the motion to direct the superintendent to reach out and find out what resources they can bring to bear and see whether we want to pursue it further.
thank you.
Bree?
I just wanna add that in CIP, that envelope has been discussed and there has been voiced concern about it, and where we're discussing roof failure, where we're discussing floor issues, where we're discussing windows being replaced, it'd be nice just to know what's going on.
Here's
I'm gonna ask the administration, what are we already currently doing to look at stuff for the envelope and the windows and anything, what Jack is talking about? Are we already doing something similar?
So the windows are right now tentatively scheduled, the remaining windows, which is a large percentage of them, are tentatively scheduled in phase 3 of the lease, which has yet to be executed. There are no future plans beyond that right now that are concrete or confirmed to do anything with the envelope of the building.
So let's see if I remember what I was just about to add. In a lot of cases, you need to coordinate all the aspects, the windows, the siding, the flashing. It needs to be one cohesive product in the end. And that's one of the reasons why I bring this up at this point in time. The other reason is our process, although getting much better, it's gotta go to facilities, then it's gotta go to the board, then it's gotta come back to CIP. So I'm just trying to expedite resources to give us those pieces of knowledge that we need to have, that the CIP needs, that facilities needs, potentially, if it's something that Chris would report back to us, or the superintendent would report back to us, would be in the district's best interest.
Is a motion specifically for that company? I mean, there's a number of envelope consultants out there.
Yeah, look, I just came up with one and I
And
thought.
I don't have anything against
Yeah.
them either, I just.
Yeah. You wanna go out and get 5, that works for me too, but again, this was a recommendation.
I didn't know how specific it was.
Would you be amenable to amending that to companies, having that one be included so we're not locked into a singular? Just
No,
kidding.
I'm not, yeah, of course I am. But
No.
Yeah, so to reach out to get that back going, that's fine.
So what's the amended motion?
To instruct the superintendent to reach out to said company, Jack will provide that information. If you have the name of the company right now, you can do it, and others, to see what tools and resources they can bring to bear in order to allow us to make more knowledgeable decisions regarding the overall encapsulation of our facilities.
There's been a motion
Did you
made.
get all that?
There's been a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained. All right, so
I have 2 last things here, and I'll be quick about it. Again, I would love for us collectively as a community, maybe led by the district, for the American Red Cross, the water drive, I heard water too, and whatever we could do to, I think we could really shine here. I would love to do that, and it's the right thing to do. The last thing is, and I'll let you guys chew on this isn't gonna be in the form of a motion, but I would love for our meeting, I hope I say this right, I would love to have, after delegates and individuals, maybe each board member or maybe the chair and co-chair, take a minute or 2 to address some of the things that are said, because I know it's out of the usual, but I think there's a whole bunch of disinformation out there right now. And I think not only do we have an obligation, but we have a responsibility to inform our constituents with the proper information. And then we can all everybody make great decisions based on what we know to be true. So that's just for consideration. It's not a motion tonight, but I would love to see that incorporated into the meeting in a very respectful way.
any other business? We have no non-public. Do we have anybody else for delegates and individuals?
We don't.
All right, this meeting is closed at 8:19. Everybody have a good evening.